Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert, editor at MS Dynamics World. On this episode, we are talking about how to prepare your organization's data for the emergence of AI-based tools and services. My guests, Caria Collins and Warwick Leitch of insightsoftware, recently presented a webcast to the MSDW audience all about preparing data for AI governance. And we wanted to follow that up with a deeper look at some of the topics they raised. In this conversation, we discussed what it means for users today to see AI-related features in a broad range of business tools, including those from insightsoftware. Caria and Warwick discussed the types of data management priorities that clients are talking about today, and how they're investing to address those priorities. Beyond data preparation and forecasting, other key capabilities today include optimization for speed, configuration of models, and data validation. My guests also tell us more about how one of their key products, Jet Analytics, is incorporating more AI and ML capabilities. As they explain, these feature requests and plans are coming from both the product team and from customers. All right, well, Caria, Warwick, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, great. I thought maybe we could just start with a bit of an intro from both of you for our listeners. They may have heard you present recently, but it'd be a great way to start things off. Caria, do you want to go first?
Sure thing. My name is Caria Collins. I am a senior solutions engineer here with insightsoftware, specifically working with Jet and all things Jet products, and glad to be here today.
And Warwick.
Yeah, hi, Warwick Leitch. I am a director of product management at insightsoftware, and I look after Jet as well as some of the planning tools. And I have been in this industry automating reporting for a long, long time, and used tools like Jet and use Jet, both Jet Analytics and Jet Reports for many, many years. So looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, same here. I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen the recent presentation that you both did for our audience, we'll definitely put a link to that because it raised a lot of great topics. And it also explained a lot about insightsoftware's vision and the way you're approaching some of the modern challenges and the modern technology opportunities, the current ones, I guess I should say, that Dynamics customers are certainly facing. And this is a great opportunity to talk a little more about some of those. And that's really where I wanted to start with, this transition where AI is becoming a discussion point in so many customers' plans. How does insightsoftware sort of talk about this transition? How does it relate to your clients and your solution?
So artificial intelligence and I guess machine learning, big topics at insightsoftware. We actually have a dedicated team, as most organizations of our size have probably got, where they are researching and producing a foundation within what we call our platform. And that AI foundation actually leans on Copilot, Microsoft's Copilot, when you think about the large language models. But there's obviously other tech in there as well. So I guess it's been, AI has been brewing for many, many years. And it's just becoming more tangible lately because of this whole cloud computer revolution, I suppose. It's been going on for a little while now. But the technology, both from a hardware point of view and a software point of view, the mathematics that goes behind AI is kind of hit a precipice where we have this enormous compute power. Takes a lot of energy too, which is interesting. Match that with demand from the public, and then businesses like insightsoftware to make AI accessible. That's the hardest thing that we're dealing with, is that accessibility. So it's certainly, we have the capability and it's getting better and better all the time. But how do you actually bring that to the market? And that's our biggest, I guess, it's not a hurdle so much, but challenge. And we accepted that challenge and we started bringing it out gently, I guess is the best way to put it. So we have something called AI Doc Assist. And the way we've set it up within our platform environment is it's kind of a layer that's accessible for any of our products within our platform that are on the platform. And it means that we can plug Jet in, for instance, to that AI environment. So let's look at Doc Assist. I'm a user and I'm brand new to Jet, and I don't know how it works. So I need to figure out how to open a report. So you can literally click on a button that says, and if you watched their previous session, you would have seen it, that says, what do you want to do? How do I open a report? And you'll get instructions based on Copilot, and it'll bring that data directly into your Excel window. It'll tell you the words in English or whatever your chosen language is, I guess, on how to do that. So that's just a gentle step into the right direction. We're actually moving pretty quickly into data analytics, where we have our large language model can highlight text, for instance, or you can highlight numbers, hit a button, and it'll give you a paragraph of information about the text that you've highlighted. And that's quite powerful. That'll help with creating commentary around that data for decision making. Then when you start looping it into our planning tools, people can start using AI to project. What's the future look like? Give me some commentary around that. And those projections are done by a machine. It doesn't have necessarily all the information that human beings have, but it's an interesting journey we're on, and we're going on it with our customers, and our customers are asking, I guess, really high level things. I really just want to be able to do this. And we're bridging that gap pretty rapidly these days with that AI team. Hopefully that gives you a bit of a sense of how we're handling things.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that. And, one of the things that I guess all of this comes down to, and it's especially interesting for a team like yours, is the nature of data in this conversation. It's the bedrock, right, of what you're able to accomplish, or I guess what your clients are able to accomplish. How have you seen, as AI has become something that's more talked about, and people are trying to get their heads around what they can use it for, I guess, for lack of a better term, how has that changed your clients' perception or maybe their priorities around the quality of their data, the access to their data, their understanding of it? I can leave that open to you to maybe take in whichever direction makes sense.
I think it's really created an urge for more accurate and prepared data. Whereas before, you might have, large data sets, but no organization, no vision, broken data, old, outdated information. So really, a lot of our clients come to us saying, hey, we need the most accurate, clean, prepared data as we can get it, which leads us into formatting the actual model of the data, which can help to determine the kind of output your data can create. Our customers are needing a lot more formatting from an architectural standpoint, which is kind of what Jet Analytics does in a sense. It brings in that organization by way of ETL, which stands for extract, transform, and load, which is needed to generate more accurate output so that you can load your data into certain, AI frameworks and create those new artificial intelligence tools.
A bit of a follow-up on that from my side, because I've certainly heard other people remark on similar themes before. I think about, I've heard sort of the implementation partner perspective on that, on the same topic, and sort of what you were saying there, Caria, maybe more frequently that they have to now, it gives them maybe perhaps a better way to engage with their clients, to work with someone like insightsoftware and using a specific solution, but actually putting the work in to accomplish it. And there's perhaps a little more motivation there now than there was in the past. Does that ring true?
Most definitely. And one thing that we strive to do is to make, to alleviate some of those efforts. So while, the customer will still need to know exactly what data they're bringing in or which source of data they're bringing in, they don't necessarily have to know every single step or how to around programming and some more of those technical points. But yeah, most definitely.
If I may layer in there, part of our AI strategy is data anomaly detection, which could be good, it could be bad. And a part of that data anomaly detection sits quite nicely in this question here around the data being the bedrock of AI. It's kind of funny because we're actually going to be using AI to help clean up the data, to help AI with better predictions and access to better information within that data. So there's some really cool stuff coming.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting that it, either algorithms or, other tools can look back at what you have and perhaps validate it or point out weaknesses in it. That'd be pretty interesting. And, on sort of the more technical side, not that we're going to go too far down that road, I don't think, but one of the things you did talk about the importance of in the recent session that you did for our readers was the use of the Management Studio tool. Can you talk at least at maybe a high level, why that was important to mention and where that sort of fits into this conversation?
Yeah, it's a good point. So Management Studio is the technologist's tool, I guess, when it comes to products like, say, SQL Server. And Development Studio, I guess, is another option there. So basically, what we want to deliver to mere mortals like us on this call is a nice, easy to use interface where you might right click and say, do AI stuff, please. That's fine for the majority of people. But when you've got your more technical folk, not necessarily data scientists, it could be a database administrator, and there are some people who are going to fit that mold, or maybe you're an accountant and you love playing in T-SQL, for instance. If you want to do more with AI that's not being surfaced through whatever products you're using, Insight Software or otherwise, you still have Management Studio as a tool to access all of the capabilities within the Microsoft SQL Server stack. So, we raise that as, hey, you are not limited here with what we're delivering necessarily. As we deliver more and more, eventually, it'll become quite redundant having to go under the hood. But it is, Management Studio is that under the hood. All right, let's roll up our sleeves and write some code here. So that's certainly an option, and that's why it's important we remember it's there.
Another point that came up in that event was a recommendation, I believe, that one of you made, that forecasting is a great starting point, or that forecasting has some really interesting new capabilities or new ways of being approached, I guess you would say, as a starting point. Is that true? And if so, why?
It really depends on the user and what we're trying to achieve. So within our platform, as I said, we're bringing out AI Doc Assist, which helps us find information. We've got some other things. I mentioned that the anomaly detection, reports, suggestions is another one coming through. Forecasting will be coming as well. I personally like forecasting because it's my background as an accountant, as an analyst. And it kind of looks like magic. And I know that sounds a little bit silly, but it really, for me, when I first saw that, and when I show it to others, the forecasting capability, it's kind of an epiphany. It's a real light bulb moment. Wow, this thing is amazing. The AI Doc Assist is great. I think that's quite incredible tech where it can hunt through an absolute vast amount of information and present you with pretty much exactly what you're looking for most of the time. But to create a forecast, which is really hard to do, when you think about people in FP&A who are busy trying to figure out what the future is going to look like, to have a machine come out and forecast, and then when you layer that data across what actually is happening as you move into those time periods, it's incredibly accurate, and it blew my socks away. That's why I like that. I think it's a great advert and a great way to bring people along on the AI journey.
Yeah, and you had a great example, I think, with some forecasting data in that session, right, where really the alignment was sort of startlingly good.
Startling is the word, yeah. I did one little bit of forecasting recently just on call telemetry for a call center, and it was so accurate. It was incredible. And that was by hour, across days, across weeks, for a very large bank in the UK. So what that model helped them do, staff more appropriately. You're going to get an influx of calls at a particular time of day, sometimes particular times of the year or the week or the month. So you can staff your people accordingly. And when the downtimes are going to come, you have a solid baseline that's quite trustworthy.
Yeah, really interesting. There were other priorities that or other factors that you also discussed that, maybe you don't start with, like, is a starting point. There are others that are obviously worth considering. A couple that you discussed: optimizing speed, model configuration, validation, and testing. I was a little surprised that speed showed up so high on that list. Can you explain a little more about why you think speed is an important factor?
I would say things like your data model or your model configuration is the guide and the architecture to your solutions. And of course, the validation of that data is vital. But if a product can't show those insights quickly, it hinders business success. And our goal is to generate those results quickly and insightfully so that you can continue to increase the reporting accuracy to not only your customers, but also your internal teams. And so for us, speed is number one.
In the context of Jet Analytics, how are you explaining where AI and ML capabilities fit into the platform?
So I would say in the context of Jet Analytics, the Jet Analytics cubes are going to bridge the gap between your data and those KPIs or those end insights. And so the cubes help to standardize and prepare your data for analysis and reporting. without the need for programming or IT intervention or even outside teams such as consultants. It's going to do all of that heavy lifting for you. And then from there, you can use those cubes for use within AI and ML frameworks like things like Azure ML Studio, Google Cloud ML Engine, Snowflake, and all these other frameworks. Your data is prepared.
And I would add to those frameworks our platform environment too. We have quite a neat tool set that's available today and will be available for Jet, where we Jet Analytics, where we have a data fabric. It is the best way to express it, an open business data fabric, we're calling it. And in that fabric, in that environment is where you'll be able to tap into with Jet Analytics, that AI and ML capability.
Before I let you go, I also wanted to know from the customer side of things, what requests are you hearing from customers as it relates to AI? What do they want from it that even perhaps without your prompting?
I think we touched on it before, but forecasting, being that many of our customers align with especially the office of the CFO, they want to know their future budgets, their cash flow, and then just general prediction of the company needs for resources and all around preparation and decision-making enhancements. So I would say forecasting.
Yeah, I hear a mix of forecasting and data cleansing or that anomaly detection. And for some people as well, or for many people, having AI help identify and find a report, certainly with Jet and many of our tools, you can create reports very, very quickly, but which is the right report for my question? So having that capability is very, very useful for people. And for others, the really lazy ones, like most of us, I can't find a report or I haven't built a report for this. Can you please build one that shows me this AI? Ask it in plain language, whatever your native tongue is, and have it create at least the foundation for that report. And that's some tech that we've got coming too. And that's pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, for me, intuitively, that makes a lot of sense. And the idea of the inertia that you need to at least get started working on a challenge, getting that initial chart or visualization built or whatever it is, at least with the first try that you can look at, you can start then iterating on, seems like a really important element for a lot of users, I would guess, to really get them adopting the technology better and building more or doing more with it, being a little more productive with it. All right, great. Anything else you wanted to talk about today before we get going? I really appreciate you taking the time to share a bit here and follow up on your session earlier in the year.
We are always open for ideas and thoughts from our customers and potential customers. So, we love hearing feedback from folk. And, if people want to deep dive in any of these topics or something else, then, we're more than happy to hear from them.
Well, Caria, Warwick, thanks so much for being here. Really fun talking to you.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
This has been another episode of the MSDW podcast. My thanks once again to Caria and Warwick for joining me. And this message from Insight Software. Insight Software is a global provider of comprehensive solutions for the office of the CFO. We believe an actionable business strategy begins and ends with accessible financial data. With solutions across financial planning and analysis, or FP&A, accounting, and operations, we transform how teams operate, empowering leaders to make timely and informed decisions. And that's it for this episode. If you have any questions and want to get in touch with me, you can send me an email, jason@msdynamicsworld.com. We'll also include some links in the show notes for more information on Insight Software. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.